If you've got a 2004 through 2007 Cadillac CTS-V, you probably know about the stock motor mounts. And if you don't, I'm gonna cover all of it in this video. I'm gonna show you how to upgrade if you've got the stock fluid-filled mounts that are known to fail, or maybe you're like me and the previous owner installed polyurethane mounts. While strong, they're extremely harsh, but don't worry, there is a solution from Creative Steel. It's a patented design made in the USA. I'm gonna flip the camera around, open up the box, show you everything that comes in the kit, and then we'll dive into the installation. So what do you get when you order a set of Elimivibe polyurethane motor mounts from Creative Steel? Well, let me show you. Okay, you're gonna get a bunch of cool stickers. Of course, you need those. I guarantee something that other companies do not even remotely think of is how to protect their motor mounts from heat. So what these are, and I'll show you how to assemble them later, these are actually heat shields because let's face it, if you're running these aftermarket motor mounts in your car, chances are you've got long tube headers, you've got a supercharger, you've got a hopped up CTS-V. This is going to ensure that those motor mounts last because you've got a custom set of heat shielding to wrap around the mounts after they're installed. And I know you want to show them off to everybody because they're going to look so cool, but this is something you really don't want to skip out on. Everything comes extremely protected from Creative Steel. Here are the motor mounts themselves. Let's pull them out of the box, set them on the bench, you can take a look. They're 6061 aluminum. These are made in the USA, and they kind of think through everything here. And I'm not gonna fully disassemble these. However, they've got spots where you can install dowel pins, and that's super useful depending on the specific motor mount and pedestal that you're interfacing with. They give you the ability to move those around to fit your application perfectly. While I'm here, here is the upgraded rear mount for the T56. We're gonna set this aside with the transmission, and then probably at the end of the video, I'll pop the stock one off and lay them side by side. One of the things I like to do in all of my videos is after we do the disassembly, we'll actually set a stock, or in my case, an aftermarket mount next to these. So you can kind of get a difference or an idea in the difference in design. Now again, my car does not have the stock fluid-filled mounts. They're great for being smooth. Basically, the fluid-filled mounts do a really good job of dampening any harshness. The problem is when they fail and the fluid leaks out, you basically have a non-existent mount. Now, I found when I took my valve covers off, and this may have been the reason that the previous owner replaced those, I think the side of the valve cover was actually hitting the frame. And I'm guessing probably happened is those mounts failed and it was allowing the engine to move around way too much. And I'm really hoping that this will be the perfect balance between the soft stock mounts and those extremely harsh aftermarket polyurethane mounts like you typically see. Anything I've ever received from Creative Steel, and I really like this, if there are instructions for you, they tell you how to get to them. They give you the torque specs, which is great. I'm a mechanical engineer, and to me, I don't just tighten things. I like to tighten them to the proper torque specs. So I love that they give you stuff like that. And wherever there's like little baggies of miscellaneous parts, like here, the dowel pins, they give you instructions right there on the bag. So if it's not clear, they're gonna tell you straight away what you need to do, and you don't need to go searching online. But in case, I'm actually already in the process of taking the transmission out. So I've got the transmission, the bell housing, the exhaust manifolds, everything off the car, which I think is gonna make it way easier to show you this installation. That's not to say that you've gotta take all this stuff out of your car to install the motor mounts, but when I'm doing my video, I think I'll be able to get a lot closer and show you things in more detail. You can certainly leave the stock exhaust on the transmission and you can do all that stuff, but as you'll see, you get a little bit better access if you're doing other modifications. I would say if you're doing a clutch in your car, go ahead and buy the motor mounts because this is gonna be the easiest it's ever gonna be to get to them. We're currently laying underneath the car. We are looking at the driver's side. Now, I'm gonna point out a few things to you. So there is this plate right here that bolts the side of your block. There's 4 bolts, 2 right here and 2 on the other side. You are gonna have to undo those. Now, what you're looking at right here, that is an aftermarket mount. And the reason you can tell it's an aftermarket mount, other than because the way it is because you've got a Zerk fitting right there on the side. Now, that's gonna come out. I'm also gonna take this lower pedestal out too. And the way to get that out is going to be by removing this bolt right here, that guy right there. So those gotta come out. But of course, if you're working with any sort of motor situation, we're gonna have to carefully put a jack up underneath, in this case, the oil pan. Now, I don't have my transmission on. Normally you'd have your transmission in place, so you would have support on the back. Right now, nothing is supporting this other than the motor mount, so we have to be very careful. We're probably gonna loosen the other side, but not remove them, and put a jack underneath here and just lift up enough that we can undo these and slide this stuff out of the way. I don't know what the torque spec is on those, but it's definitely not whatever the first one was. For the sake of visibility, let's pull off this stock wheel. This one is gonna be the hardest one to see, but if you look right there, we gotta pop off that wiring harness from that nut, and then that's the one we have to remove. That's the last one of the mounts that hold the plate, which I'll call it, to the block. I think the good news though is if you have the world's longest extension like me, you can snake it in here by just pulling the wheel off basically. So let's break that loose. Okay, we got the last one out of there. But the motor mount shifted a little bit. So you want to really be careful that you've got the engine supported. This is actually one of the situations where having the transmission in may have actually helped because it keeps things from rocking quite as much. Thank God again for the world's longest extension, because we're going down all the way down there. There it is right there. That undone, we can actually grab the mount and we should be able to just pop it out. That should just come right out like so. Love to do this. So this part remains, this part remains. This is the part we're changing out. Now on the stock assembly, this would look a little bit more like that actually, but it's fluid filled. These are, and I don't want to bash anybody, I think these are UMI aftermarket polyurethane mounts. Nothing wrong with them, as long as you don't mind some extra harshness. In this case, 21 millimeter, put it on there. You can zip that loose, and I'll double check for you, but I bet you it's the same. Yep, 21 on both sides. Okay, all I've done is just taken the two hand threaded bolts out of one of the mounts to just show you something here. So orientation of the mounts does matter. For example, the alignment of this dowel pin to that center hole is slightly different than these. So this one right here, the black side goes towards the bottom. And then what'll happen is this will bolt in like that, but you'll see you've got to line up the dowel pin. In my case, I think it's going to be on this hole right here, and it'll get installed like that. What's crucial for this is that the tabs are all on the inside. So we'll just snake this one, big one, through first. If your hands are less greasy than mine, it'll probably go smoother. Let's see how that's hidden. And then the same idea applies to all these. So you don't want to have it stuck out. You want to have it go in, so it looks nice and tidy from the outside. If it wasn't abundantly clear, these are the heat shields. That is how it should look when you're all done. In order to make this job just a little bit easier, we're going to grab a socket and we are going to undo the bolt that I'm shining the light at right now. That's your steering shaft. We're just going to pop that off and out of the way. Okay, with that bolt removed, this should just pop out. It's hard to do with one hand, but you get the idea. I'm going to pull that all the way out, and that should give us a little bit more room. Now, obviously, this part just fits over top of here like so. And then we can go and reinstall everything. I think I'm going to use a little bit of blue Loctite, and I'm going to torque the top and bottom bolts here and basically get this installed as an assembly, head over to the car, probably loosen the other side, jack the whole motor up, and I think that'll give me enough space to drop everything in place. Okay, I'm gonna opt for a tiny bit of blue Loctite, just because I don't really love using red Loctite on stuff. Just makes it tougher if you have to remove things in the future. Just a little dab will do ya. Okay, now that we got the assembly, we're gonna try and drop it in the car. Now what I think I'm gonna do is get it in there as close as I can, hop over on the other side, undo that other bolt from the top, loosen up the bottom, jack up on the motor, and then it should drop into place. But I really don't wanna have the motor totally unsupported for any longer than necessary. What I mean, it's starting to try and line up with that hole, but it won't go all the way in because it's hitting the motor. So I'll have to undo it carefully and with the jack up a little bit, and try and get this puppy to kind of just drop down in there. But what we don't want to do is take all the motor mount bolts all the way out. We just want to lift up enough that we can wiggle it in place. Going through the top, you can see the extension. We undid that. I think it's like a 13 millimeter, and then this is the 21. And now we're just going to jack up on the engine carefully. I'm going to hop out front of the car, try and jack it up a little bit, see if we can't drop that mount into place. And then we'll tighten up the 4 top bolts, but I'm not going to leave the bottom, not going to tighten the bottom up. There's no point since we've got to do the same thing on this side. Okay, that's all it took. Basically, just jacked up on the engine. Now everything's nice and loose, and I just had to wiggle it and drop it down in place. I'm going to quick hand tighten those bolts up in there, all 4 of them. And we're not going to come and tighten this just yet. Get the other bolt in from the top, but that will be kind of the last step. Then we'll leave everything loose and go and attack the other side. Coming in from the top, I was able to drop that long bolt in. I'm just going to start a couple threads on it, and then we can move over to the other side. This really is not a very difficult install, especially if you've got the clearance. I highly recommend doing this if you're doing headers, because it's going to give you a little bit of extra clearance to get everything in there. Go ahead and torque those 4 bolts to 37 foot-pounds, and now we're going to hop over to the other side. Now the instructions are essentially the same, so I'm just going to have this on a time lapse. I will say on the passenger side there are 3 bolts holding that plate to the block instead of 4. Otherwise it's the same idea. Make sure you pull it off. You've got to disassemble the stock mount from the upper and lower plates, and then install the Creative Steel motor mount. You'll see me here just putting a little bit of Loctite on that dowel pin. I didn't do that on the first one, and I honestly probably should have. Go ahead and assemble the upper and lower stock plates to your new Creative Steel mount. It's really funny here. You'll see me put it in the vise a bunch of different ways. The reason for that is I'm trying to hold it still so I'm not torquing the mount when I'm trying to torque the bolt. After that, just drop it in place. If you have to jack up on the motor, do so, but just be careful. It should just drop right into place. And since you've already done this on the driver's side, it's all going to go pretty smoothly. Finally, torque those 3 bolts to 37 foot-pounds, just like you did the 4 on the driver's side. Now that everything is bolted to the block and nothing can move, you can go ahead and release your jack, pull that out of the way, grab those 2 large 21 millimeter nuts and throw those on. They get torqued to 59 foot-pounds from the bottom. And the very last thing you'll do after you get these 2 nuts torqued is go in from the top, and these also get torqued to 37 foot-pounds. Now again, you need a long reach and a swivel. So that does it for the motor mount portion, but if you're installing the trans mount, I'm gonna hold this up. I'm gonna pop off the stock trans mount, hold them side by side so you can see them, and then I'll show you how to bolt that to the T56, and that'll pretty much wrap up the video. So the stock trans mount has 2 15 millimeter bolts on each side. We'll just go ahead and break those loose. Side by side, you've got obviously the Creative Steel on the left and the stock on the right. At first glance, nothing here looks terribly out of place. Some of these like rubber isolators here are starting to get a little deformed. So I don't think this one's totally blown out, but while we're in here, might as well replace it. Slightly different design. I think it allows for a little bit more articulation, it appears, than how this one is. And again, they've got sort of the same ear design to them, so they can only go on one way. You'll reuse the stock mounts, or the stock bolts, and then that should just pop in there in place like that. Wrap up the video. As always, I read all the comments. I'm not big enough not to, so hit me up in the comments if you've got questions, concerns, you're stuck on a part, and I will be sure to try and help you. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative, and I can't wait to try this thing out, because basically when I get this car back on the road, it's gonna have all of the Creative Steel parts on it, which I think is gonna be really exciting, just to kind of like test their entire catalog as one, and I'll give you feedback and let you know what I think. Okay, check you guys next time.